All right, very good morning on our behalf as well. We're proud to be announced as Hyper-T and Hyper-D, but of course our real names are Tony and Daniel. We are presenters from Microsoft, and we basically go all over the place to talk about new technology. So first, this is a kind of a different event because packaging is more like...
It's not a core business. We are more focusing on infrastructure, but yeah, we were asked to do something about, do a keynote on the packaging event. So we need to do something in regards to application and application deployment. So we brought all this stuff with us just to impress you guys.
Yeah.
And hopefully can...
And the rest is slides.
The rest is slides, man.
Now, we've got a lot of demos. We're still having issues with the internet, so we're trying to work those out while we go along. But we really want to inspire you just by, what's going on, what are the different things we have. And of course, all we do and everything we do is based around the developments and the trends that are happening. And I'm sure you're all aware that the things that are happening around virtualization, around cloud, and of course around consumerization of IT. I don't want to go too much in depth in all these trends, because as you are the experts in your area, I'm pretty sure you see these coming by and heard about it. But really, there's of course a lot that goes with it.
So what you see over here is basically what not only you are facing, but also the customers and the daily users are facing it. So like you got mobile devices, you got multiple devices. I mean, just for a sanity check, how many of you are using more than one device to connect to your corporate network?
Gee, yeah.
And you're only using Microsoft devices, of course? Yeah, so you got, you're all tech savvy. It's work-life blur because, you also, how many people are saying like, well, when I go home, I never check my email anymore. I mean, everyone I speak to, at least if you're working in IT, are saying like, I put the kids to bed, I watch some television show, and then I check my email again, and then I do some gaming, and then I go to sleep, something like that. So it's all blurry, it's all work-life, going back and forth. Basically, it's all about consumerization. And also with that, of course, bringing your own devices, regardless if you're using, whatever device you're using. So what you see over here is that we are shifting, basically saying like, what, I want to, in the past, also with Microsoft, we were really focusing on device-based management, saying like, okay, you need to push this application to this device, and it will only work on this specific device, this laptop or desktop or so on. So we were pushing all those different applications to different devices, and then of course the user says like, well, I don't care which device it's on. I want to have a unified experience on whatever device I'm using. And so what we're saying right now is saying like, well, okay, so if this user is so demanding within your organization, because when I was an IT administrator, I said, well, the best users are the users that aren't there, because you can delete that account and they're not nagging you about password resets and stuff like that. But nowadays we see that users are indeed the core of your business. I mean, you need to run those applications and you need to run them wherever you are. So we're gonna shift to user-centric, basically. That's what we do. And this is not something special, I think. It's not like a big surprise, but it's something that's really needed to get in the mind of, application developers, application owners, IT pro administrators, and so on. Because from an IT perspective, we were the king in our kingdom, and we were really used to saying like, okay, the user can only do this, and the machine can only do that. And if the user wants to use this specific type of machine that is not like owned or managed by our corporation, no way. So what you see nowadays is, okay, we want to, so this is basically saying like, if the consumer owns it and you're not compliant, no go within my organization. But nowadays the trend is like, okay, bring your own device. So I want to also use those devices on the right within my organization. And I also want to have, well, maybe not full access to the corporate network, but at least have full access to my corporate applications. And that's basically what we're going to enable with the new applications and the new software and then the whole new experience.
Yeah, so looking at the different flexible work styles that people get, and what we were trying to enable, of course, with all our software and our products, is we really want to make sure that people can work anywhere, work from the road. The way that UMTS or 3G is now integrated in laptops by default really enables you to be wherever you are. There's UMTS, or you can get onto the Wi-Fi so you can work on the road. we really want to enable like things like bring your own device, work on your phone, or even work from a branch office and optimize that. So looking at that, we basically say we need an intelligent infrastructure for that. That's basically the three pillars that we're going to do our demos on. So the first one is about the optimized application infrastructure. This is all about like the experiences that users get, the way they can work on whatever device they have, and that's why we see a lot of devices here. Of course, from an IT part, we really want to look at like, okay, but how would you talk about security and access on those devices? Because in the end, of course, like you don't want somebody to have their home PC, which they use in the middle of the night to watch specific websites that are also a good harvesting of some malware and everything, then to create a VPN connection after that and go to the corporate network, like, hey, look what I got it, you know? Just blur that mess into your network. So, and also like on the other devices, how do you manage the security of the data on there? And of course, in the end, it's all about the management as well. So we're basically going to look at these three pillars, looking at the application infrastructure and experiences for users. Then we're going to dive into some of the security features, and then we dive into management.
Yep. And of course, those are only to inspire you, because in the rest of the 2 days, there are some more in-depth sessions on, for instance, how you're going to do management on-premise or in the cloud and so on.
Yeah, so we'll see a lot of things coming by, but most of them are like more to inspire you and, you know, pick your sessions and the rest of the days to go more.
So these are the, if you look at it, at the triangle on the right, like if you look at the optimized application infrastructure today, basically you got three flavors is what you see nowadays mostly. It's like, okay, I have those device optimized apps, you know, basically what we already were using for many years. I have this specific desktop app that's optimized to run on this type of desktop. I've got this mobile app that's run on this specific mobile device and so on. And of course, those are device optimized, have the best experience for that specific device, and usually run local on that device. So you need to install those locally, or you use, for instance, AppV or whatever to install those in a way as well. Another thing that we see, another trend that we see, is using web apps. Why everyone is why are corporations interested in using web apps? Well, with that way, I can give them a uniform experience across different devices. And of course, I can use an anytime connection, because the web app, if I enable that, I can also use that from outside my organization and so on. And the last thing that we see nowadays is saying like, you know what, I want to use virtualized desktop and virtualized applications. Because that way I can create a combination of both, because I still can give that optimized experience, make it more uniform, and I can make sure that the business applications are running from inside my data center, for instance. With Windows 8 and other software, we nowadays see that there is a transformation going on between those three stacks. So we'll show you later on with Windows 8 that we're in between somewhere or something like that. We're thinking of new ways and different ways to incorporate all those possibilities within your organization. Okay, but first, we want to show you, of course, the experience across devices. And for that, you want to switch to machine number 7. 7 is this one. The phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So. All right. So I think that one of the biggest changes we made in the see some people laughing here for my stormtrooper popping up on my keyboard. So the first one to talk about the blur basically that comes within the applications itself. We can no longer have to think about different silos and how the information is locked into silos, because with the new platforms, the new operating system basically are enabling that data can flow from one application to the other. So whether this is something simple like going into my phone, and for instance, yeah, you have to get a hold of my phone first so you can enter the PIN, right? There's still physical access needed for that one. Right, so anyway, great. So you see text messages are integrated. Call me, mom, great. So let's just start like seeing like how we really the information is blurring into each other. So we see here's my contacts. So these are all the contacts that I have on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and they're all in here. They're all integrated, and that makes it really easy for me to basically find a contact no matter where they're living. Really cool in this is if I slide to the right, I go to the new. I don't know how many of you have seen this, the new Windows Phone 7 demo here, but really, whether these are updates from Facebook, whether these are updates from LinkedIn or Twitter, it's all integrated in here. So we see some Facebook, we see a lot of Facebook updates, but yeah.
So basically what you see over here is a real simple implementation of people-centric thinking, saying like, okay, you know what, it's all about you as an end user on your phone, and you are using this people hub to connect to other people. And you're not really interested in which way you communicate with this person, if you're using LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. You just want to communicate with Tony. So for instance, if Tony looks at my profile, you will see that in there is my combined information from Outlook, Twitter, Facebook, and so on. But also if you go to the history, so you can see, you can see my email, Twitter, whatever, but also, of course you can see my new things in my history. But if you go to my history, over here, you see all the communication that we have going on. So either if that's an email or calling or an SMS or whatever.
Yeah, that's really easy just to see that integration here. From this I can easily go to SMS and chat, and you basically here have the ability to switch between the different applications, basically, the different way I can communicate with him. So whether he's online on Facebook or he's using text messages, it's just one window for me, and I'm just going to enter that in there.
Okay, so that's one device.
Yep. Want to look at the tablet?
Yeah, show the other one, because you're already swiping away. I want to see more swiping.
All right. So what we have here is a tablet. So let me quickly see if I have a connection. Apparently I have. So what I have here is a tablet. It's a Samsung. It's available on the market right now, and it's sold with Windows 7. And of course I can easily, and the connector is, of course. Don't pull the connector, I got it. But we install Windows 8 on there. And of course, Windows 8, the new OS that we're going to release on October 26th, is all about that same way of thinking. You see the same tiles, you see the same, what we call live tiles as well. We see updates popping up there, we see pictures popping up there, and it's a whole different experience. So if I go to my People Hub here, you basically see the same contacts that I just had on my phone. We can go here into updates from my friends, and we see the same updates. Whether this is, again, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And of course, the icons here are a little bit visible there, so we see 3 tweets there. But this is also more user-centric. I can quickly swipe through it and use it. And on the right top there, we see I'm connected to my Windows Live account, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We see the icons there. So, swiping in and going to People, I also can go to my pictures. And from my pictures, I can look at my SkyDrive. And immediately you can see here like pictures on SkyDrive. And you see here a picture I took from the arena. And here's another picture I just took. This is a picture from the audience. And I just took that.
You're all in this keynote. How cool is that?
Yeah. If you didn't want to be here, if you're not actually here, then tell me, I can sort of like get you out of the picture.
Yeah, we got tools for that too.
Yeah. Now, but seriously, I took a picture with the phone, and that's automatically uploaded to SkyDrive. Because it's automatically uploaded to SkyDrive, I automatically have it on my device as well. So this whole experience of like being connected and always having access to your information makes the whole lot transparent. So
okay, this is cool, but I'm not. You just showed me that you're using different devices. So what happens if I go to another device, for instance? So if does it also transfer to the other devices, the same with your desktop settings, for instance, stuff like that?
Yeah, so for instance, between the phone and the tablet, not as much, except of course we do get the application development cycle is a lot shorter, because once you build an application for Windows 8, you just need to build the other UI to be able to put it on the Windows Phone. So that makes it a lot of less hassle to develop that. Applications I have here in the store, I can also have them in the Windows Phone 8 store. So that makes it a lot transparent and easier. what we see here, of course, is that this brings a new way of applications as well. We just saw it's like the people application, this is my email, and this is all around what we call the Microsoft design style philosophy. So it's all clean, it's all, less blur, less icons and everything that. So it brings a whole new design style. If I bring back in my start menu, bring another application like the weather, and these are all what we call the Windows Store applications, Windows Store apps. So they have another design philosophy. It's not like the desktop applications we know today. And of course, developing one and making one is not as hard because it's using the tools and the information you already have. So right here we have a little application which is made by a Dutch company, nu.nl. And nu.nl made basically a website for news. And they start with a little ad while they load, and then we get a new interface to harvest that information.
But be aware, what we're showing you right here is not in the store yet. So this application will officially be launched, during the Windows launch. So you're the first one to see this publicly.
Public, yeah.
We had special clearance to show you because we're saying, you're all busy with applications, and we had to come up with an excuse. But they basically want to show you this application because there's really smart thinking in there, how people respond with swiping and how to get their high fidelity and high interaction.
Yeah, so if I click on an article, let's go in there. We see here that I have a video. So you can just start a video. And you immediately see that I am, directly looking into a video. Well, of course, there's a fire. Go back. Also, the way they work, for instance, with something that has slides on board. So going in here, going into the slideshow, and they will load the pictures from this event. So it's not the best high-res picture, but this is a good high-res picture. You can see I can just swipe through the pictures using the tablet. So it gives a new way to design.
Can you also zoom in and zoom out, do pinching? For instance, if I want to go to different columns, I'm only interested in the sports section, for instance.
Yeah.
Oh, you already.
So let me get back in there. Details. Yeah. That's the part from running the beta. All right. So yeah, what Daniel's talking about is like, of course, we have different sections like general or economics. Or what they did really well is like if I would pinch, so I put two fingers on there and I'm gonna squeeze it in. You can see I can quickly choose which topic I'm interested in. So it's another way of thinking about how applications work.
Okay, so let's shift over to more like business kind of apps. I mean, do you have examples of that? Say like, I don't know.
Yeah, for instance, we have My Hospital, which is a demo application made by a local company. I'm sure it's in Dutch, but you'll get the general idea. It's all about an application for a hospital where a doctor basically can go in, look at a treatment plan, look at the information on a pacemaker to explain to a customer, upcoming appointments, where those appointments are, going back, or even like looking into a file from somebody, looking at a little video on that, or an x-ray of the lungs. Because of the resolution, we're missing a little bit on the right, but you get the idea of like what's possible with this way of working with the applications basically. Of course, do we still have desktop applications in Windows 8? And I'm sure you're aware of that, but if I switch here, I go to the desktop, and here's my standard desktop. Also, if I just go to the right here, you also see that I have, for instance, my Office 2013, which I've installed here. And this, of course, is a standard desktop application as well. So we first will switch to the desktop and then go in here. What's really cool about Office 2013, that they, of course, are aware of the fact there's also touch enablement. So you can see here I have a little button to switch touch on and off. And all it does is basically make the icons, the spaces around the icons, make that bigger. So actually, the bigger fingers also get the choice between whether they really want bold or inverted or whatever. All right, so that's basically some of the experiences we have. That's some of the applications we have. But that's basically also showing that's like a shift is being done from what we know as the desktop applications going into this new OS, because Windows 8 will have this as a start menu as default. Whenever you hit the start button on the keyboard, whenever you're gonna, hit the start button on the device or whatever, this is the start menu you will get, whether this device, this OS is installed on a tablet, on a PC, or on a laptop. So that, of course, will change the way we use that. And of course, we have the Windows Store. For those of you that are developing applications, the Windows Store is the way to get applications onto the Windows 8 machines. And of course, we'll cover in some great detail, or more detail later, what we're going to do on how you can, develop your own apps, deploy those in your own organization as well. But this is to give you a general idea of like where the trend is going with what we're doing with applications in the Windows. All right, so let's switch to Daniel's machine. Let's see. You want to do?
Oh, you want to do it on mine?
Ja, je begint met. Deze staat uit. Ja, precies.
On 5.
So let's take a look at web apps, because we talked about web apps, of course, as well. And most of you might be familiar. In fact, we of course launched Office 365 a year ago. It was now 1.5 years ago, and Office 365 is really the enabling of like software as a service as well. Because if you take Office 365, you're always entitled to the latest version of Office. Daniel's going to log in. If you still have internet, yeah.
Yeah, so basically what you see over here, I've got, with Office 365, I got my own web page and my own SharePoint and my own web apps. So this is basically what our customers will see. They see the totally club-lagged site, because we're always club-lagged from going to the clubs and not getting enough sleep.
Yeah,
so
in case you're wondering, it's the other, usually you're jet-lagged, but we're usually club-lagged, so that was the idea.
Yeah, so we got our customer, we got our customer support over here. Tony is the cookie dealer, I'm the creative groupie tester, and so on. We got some other employees that are really about, customer satisfaction, logistics, customer support, the people that you can build on and make sure your organization is running right. So this organization is running everything from the cloud. So this is my customer-facing page, but what you saw over here is that I can say, you know what, I want to log in because I'm a member of this club-lag stuff. So this sounds like a nasty scene, but what you get actually is that you come over here, if you log in, you go into Office 365. Because I'm an administrator on this club-lag website, you can see over here that I can create users, I can link my cloud environment to my on-premise environment and stuff like that. But, or for instance, I can also go to the team side and go to my team side and see basically what's running on my, what documents are running within my environment. So here I have two new documents. I got a packaging event PowerPoint, and I got a new spreadsheet that is just uploaded. So let me click on the spreadsheet, and I want to say, you know what, I want to modify this one in the browser. And at this point in time, I'm the only one that's using this application, because you can see over here, only one person is making use of this application. But the cool thing, of course, with this is why do you want to use this? Well, because we said like, okay, it's all about being user-centric and device-independent and having the same experience. So I want to make sure that whatever device I'm using, if this is on my mobile phone, maybe some Microsoft device, my Mac over here, I can still work and already it changes over there, and make sure I get the right experience. So what you see over here, I got two persons modifying this slide. So for instance, you see Tony is now modifying the chart pie and stuff like that. And so I for instance, we can also switch to his machine and show him how that's working. Tree?
Yep. Yeah, what you see here is that I brought the MacBook just for this demo, because we are also supporting multiple devices any way you can use. So actually I'm using Excel just as a web app from the MacBook right now. And we can see that Daniel is also working in this. This is a neat chat app, so I can reply to that. Yes, it is. And actually, this is just updated back and forth. So whatever I type is going to be appearing in his screen, and whatever he's working on will appear back in my screen. So it gives you another way of basically working with, with each other.
Okay, so you also have your PowerPoint presentation over there, so you can also open that.
Yep.
Open that in the browser. But maybe it's nice to show you that experience on the phone, because that's what I think is really added value of our Windows phone, is that we also have Office on the phone.
Yeah.
So although we have Office over here on the Mac, we don't have Office yet for an iPhone, by my knowledge, or for an Android, but we can show you how it looks on the Windows phone.
Actually, we just announced that.
Oh, we just announced it was
yeah,
on
it was on
nu.nl. Yeah, just.
Or that might be. I don't know. All right, so let's go back to 7 here. And from my phone, I'm just going to scroll down, and you see here I have the Office Hub. So clicking on the Office Hub basically allowed me to go to recent files I've opened, OneNote, using our note-taking application. So from here I can easily jump to my SkyDrive, which you saw me use earlier from the phone, using the pictures, and also on the tablet. But here I have our team site, the Club Light site. And I'm just going to dive directly into the Club Light team site. You see the whole user interface is basically adjusted to use on the phone. So from here I can go to Documents. We see our expense trends demo file. And we here also have the packaging event slides. And what you see here is I can just go through the slides and look at the things we just looked at. So it basically has that experience across the devices there.
How cool is that?
Okay, terug now.
This one, so you can show the article.
Okay, that was 2, yeah. Yeah, and here we see the announcement.
So no worries, you will get it too. How cool is that? Okay, back to 5.
All right, so that's a little bit about the experience across devices.
So we said, you know what? Let's do way more slides because we need to get you energized for the rest of the day. No, we're just going on with some demos. That's basically it. Okay, so we showed you the Windows interface on different devices, but we also want to show you the VDI experience.
Yep.
Because we also have a VDI running, and we also want to show you the Windows to Go experience. And then, of course, we also want to do some security and management. Okay, so we're going to switch to machine number
3, 4.
4. That's 4. We got too many machines on stage.
Yeah. Okay, so what I have here is a tablet. A laptop. This laptop is also basically usable as a tablet. So it's got touch, and it's basically a combination of both. And it's actually not a new one as well. This is an old one we've had for quite some years actually already. I also installed Windows 8 on this, and we're going to do a really very simple demo on this one. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, the application I've installed in here was like the remote desktop. I connect it to my VDI environment on the corporate network, and dynamically it also creates a little icon. You see that here on the right hand side, the virtual windows on my work. So clicking on that one would just go to the VDI environment, fire up a VDI machine for me, load the virtual machine, and then connect into that. So if the connection is all working. And the VDI connection I'm opening is actually a Windows 8 connection as well. So I'm bringing a Windows 8 desktop through VDI to myself. We are running this on a Server 2012 backend. The VDI environment in 2012 has really changed a lot, made it really simple now. And what I really like about it a lot is that from the part of IT, we now have basically, the way I've set it up right here, is a pool of VDI, virtual desktops. All the user settings and everything go in their own separate virtual hard disk. So whatever I add here, whatever I change, if I log off, pick another virtual machine, it just combines that with my user profile virtual hard disk, and I have all the settings and everything I use on the corporation just there with me. Now, if I just hit the Windows key, you can see I also have the touch available in my virtual desktop environment.
Yeah, so VDI, of course, is new. The improvements for Windows 8 are that we have better performance if you are connecting across the one, and also the touch things and some other things. But in the end, for this VDI environment to work, you always need an active connection to your data center, because this virtual machine is running from your data center. So let me show you another neat trick that we really like. If we go to machine number 1.
Yeah, so you notice we're moving from cool to neat, and suddenly we'll get to awesome. So
Hopefully, yeah.
we're just switching a little bit between those.
So this is not my machine. This is Tony's machine.
Yeah, it's mine.
It's yours, yes. But you see me, I can log on with my credentials. This machine is also connected to the Microsoft network. And, well, this looks like my normal laptop, of course. I have my same, the same desktop screen, the background. I have my same pictures and stuff like that, and my applications. But if I look really closely, I will see over here that says Windows to go. That doesn't say anything, of course. Oh, there's no zoom on this one, of course.
Nope.
But for you as a techie, I will show you if I go to computer management.
Yeah, this is Windows key X. For those of you, if you start working with Windows 8, you might want to have quick access to Device Manager, Disk Manager. Windows X is the expert menu. So quickly gives you access to that.
So what you see over here, if you look carefully, disk 0, my physical hard drive in this laptop, has been disabled because that is Tony's machine.
Yep.
And I booted from this USB stick, so that's my Windows to go, and that's like 32 gigs. So if I pulled it out, it will say like, it freezes the screen because this one is BitLocker encrypted. It has to be secure, of course, and I want to make sure, basically, I got my enterprise desktop running from my USB stick, so I can go to whatever place I want to go to. Oh, you got a laptop for me with, you know, a Windows-capable system that can run USB to go, like Windows 7 or whatever. Plug it in, and I've got my, you know, my business environment running over there. There is this security feature in there that we say, like, if you put out the stick, you know, you have to put it back in within 60 seconds, otherwise it will go into a shutdown and mode like that. So hopefully I'm back in business now, because usually you also used to use USB 3 ports. Okay, whatever. Okay, I want to show you the high def video, but we'll see if we can do that later on. So that's one other cool thing.
Yeah, Windows to Go basically is an enterprise feature. So if you have the Windows 8 enterprise licenses, it enables you as a enterprise to give your users a USB stick with a full running Windows 8 OS, wherever they are. They can just plug it into a PC at home, whatever, boot from the USB stick, and they'll have a full corporate image, for instance, to work with. So
that's a shame. Okay, so let's go back to let's go to my server. That's on 6, I think. Yep. So here you see server 212. And as you can see, administrators were in shock the first time they saw this because you got tiles as well. Well, not really. Usually when you start up, you get the server manager interface. Okay, because of the time, I won't show you much about this, but what you see over here, what's new, is that I can manage multiple servers from one server manager. And as Tony showed you, I got my, my VDI environment running over here. That's all cool. The thing that I want to show you is related to security, and it's called dynamic access control. So this is a little bit taggy, but not too taggy, hopefully. So what you got over here,
very taggy.
Very taggy. Because we got all those devices within my environment running and people connecting with different devices to my environment. But, of course, I want to make sure that people are connecting in a secure way or only accessing data that are valid to see. Nowadays, you're using Active Directory user groups to sort of figure that out. But what we do with dynamic access control is a new way of implementing user access control, basically. So, for instance, I can say in this field saying company, and I can define if you're from this company, Dell, HP, Lenovo, whatever, then you have access or not. And of course, I can do that with multiple things.
Yeah, what we're trying to achieve here is nowadays you can say, like, I have a folder on a server which is called finance, and I have a server on that same. I have another folder that's called marketing, right? So in order to be able to write in this finance folder and read in the finance folder, you usually create a group, the finance group, and you put people in the finance group so they can read and write there. Same for marketing, so you have a marketing group. So what happens nowadays, if that's someone that's actually in both groups, they are both in finance and in marketing, and they take their very important financial document, they're working on the new, year to date, budget, whatever, and they accidentally save it in the marketing folder because they have access to both folders. Now all the people in the marketing department can see that finance document. This is something that will change that. because we're really going to put extra layers on top of whatever data you have. And this is called data access control, DAC.
Yeah, so the cool thing, like Tony said, instead of making nested groups and stuff like that, I can create an access rule that says, like, you know, if you are from the company Dell and you are in the department marketing or sales and the confidential of the file share you're trying to access is low and you got the required clearance to have public data available, then you can get read and write access to this file. And I can deploy that with a policy, so I don't have to figure it out myself, everything. I can just define over here how the policies are defined.
You can even go as far as like saying, like, you can only access the financial records when you're using our finance, you know, machine.
Yes, and the same thing goes on for my security. So if I look at this file share, I have my old school groups over there that I can define to define access. But I can also say, you know what, I want to use a central policy that's based on the rule that my administrator said with all those and or statements. Or I can even say, you know what, I want to check. I want to check if this Windows device has access to the share, because you can define it by these users and devices.
All right, so let's take a look at management.
Yep.
Our final topic we want to cover. So let's switch to 5 AI. Okay. The new live.
Yep.
Can I just slide system?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we're looking at?
So what we're looking at is basically the challenge that we have, how we're going to upload all those applications into a store. So what you see over here, I've got my System Center Configuration Manager running, and this is the self-service portal from a client. So this client is running, is incorporated in my organization, and that's why he can go to the self-service portal and say, you know what, I've got these applications. You can see over here, I cannot zoom in this one, I need to do it like that. You can see over here, I can click on install, saying like, you know what, this application, Adobe Acrobat Reader, is available for me. Just click on install, and then the application will be installed from the central store from System Center. But the new thing is, I can also say, for instance, for this one, for Skype, I don't have permission to install it yet, but it's published to my store, it's published to my department, saying like, this may be a handy application for you. So what I can do is say, you know what, I want to fill out a request.
I love the pink, by the way.
By the pink, yeah.
Self-service portal's got to be in pink, right?
And you can send that request to your administrator. Let me go over to my administrator machine. Oh, let me do a refresh. I think I did. And here you see the request saying like, okay, you know what, I want to install this application. I can say okay. Where's my do and approve? Yes. So from within the application that I'm using to deploy applications, basically, if I now go to this one, I'm sorry for the screens, I need to go back to my application catalog, my application requests. And now you see over here, it's approved. So if I go to my application catalog, now this Skype will say, yes, you can install it too. So that's basically how easy users within an organization can get new applications.
And of course, this is what we're looking at right now, is desktop applications. With the update of Service Pack 1 coming out for a System Center suite, we actually are able to also deploy the Windows Store applications the same way. So what we see here is that basically for Windows 8 application delivery in the enterprise, we have the Windows Store, so people can connect to the public store and download it from the Windows Store. We also can, of course, have a group policy and disable the public store if you don't want people to use that. So the ability you have to get your applications on those devices in the enterprise are either by using side loading, which can be done through System Center, which we just showed you in a very brief demo, or the way like
Intune.
Intune, which is another short demo. Intune is our management from the cloud solution.
So what you see over here, I got, in my Intune environment, I got there several machines. I got my status as well. Oh, I need to log on again. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So the thing with Intune is basically you have, we showed you Office 365 as running an application and infrastructure from the cloud. And we showed you now System Center Configuration Manager that's using to deploy applications. What you see over here is a combination of the two. I'm using Intune, that's my management and deployment tool, to deploy applications within my organization, wherever my customers are. So this is running from the cloud itself. And that's really interesting. So you see over here, I'm managing 540 computers, 13 mobile devices. The cool thing with Intune is, for instance, I can also manage different OSs. So you see over here, I got my iPads in my organization. I got some Androids and some Windows mobile phones that I'm managing. Well, this is all nice, and of course, the interesting thing is, how does it work for an end user? So let me go to the self-service portal. I just go from the administrative perspective to do it quick and dirty. But if an end user logs on his machine that is managed, he sees this same kind of tile self-service portal. So he can click on apps and he sees which apps are available for him. And of course, the same goes with your devices. And in that way, you can add your own device. If you are managed with your administrator, you can add those devices to it, regardless if that's an iPhone or a Windows app, Windows device. Okay, so that's basically the two examples that we wanted to show you in the unified management.
And that was our time.
And that's our time.
We're running out. So thank you so much for attending our keynote at the packaging event. We hope you had a bit of inspiration on the things we are working on as Microsoft. If you want to stay in touch, we have our Twitter account and our email address right there. And we would love to thank you very much for your time.
And
Good morning.
please fill out your emails. Thank you.